Southern State of Golf podcast. We're now on episode 4, trying to get to that episode 20 and 21. So we've made good progress so far. We're excited to be here today, excited to talk about Southern golf experiences. And so today we're going to talk about the experience at Tobacco Road Golf Club up in North Carolina. And I'm excited today to be joined by Chief Storyteller from the Whole Story podcast, Robby Woodard. Robby, how are you doing today?
I'm good, John. How are you?
Man, it's fantastic. It's nice and chilly outside. It's below freezing. Great golf weather. I say that sarcastically in the highest sense. Yesterday I got a chance to go out and play 9 holes, and probably the coldest weather I've ever played. It was probably 40, 42 when I played, and I'm not so sure I'll ever play in the low 40s again if I've got a choice. How about you? What's the coldest you've ever played in, or how do you feel about cold weather golf?
I like cool weather golf. Cold weather is different though. I mean, when it's like you're saying, you can't feel your hands, that's pretty tough. The coldest round I think I've ever been a part of, it was mid-30s and sleeting. We were playing at River's Edge Golf Club up in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was, we were a part of a big trip from guys from church, and if we didn't have a bunch of people that were excited to get out and play golf and hang out, we probably would have packed it in. But we had a good day, but it was cold.
Yeah, yesterday I paid my greens fee and I decided to walk. I thought that warmed me up a little bit. And then when I got out that first tee, it's the first time I was like, did I make a mistake here? It actually warmed up a little bit in the middle rounds, but my 8th and 9th hole, it wasn't good. My hands didn't feel it. And when I got back in the car, turned the heat on, my face was burning because it was so cold. I'm still glad that I went. My score probably would tell you a little bit differently, but it was certainly a great opportunity to get out and play again. But I'm excited to talk about a time that I had playing Tobacco Road. It was my last round in December of 2024, and I will say in my renaissance of learning about golf again and falling in love with the game, Tobacco Road is one of those courses I just kept seeing over and over on social media. And I was like, that's a course I got to play. And that's when I really understood who Mike Strantz is. And, we'll talk all about the round. And, how many times have you played Tobacco Road?
Just once. I played it last summer. I guess so the summer of 2024 with some guys, Jonathan and a couple good friends, and that was the one and only time I've played it.
Yeah, it was a reward, I say a Christmas present of sorts to myself, because I played like 2 days after Christmas. It was one of those where I had a free Saturday. The weather was nice. It was in the 60s or going to be in the 60s. I said, well, I'm going to go treat myself somewhere in golf, and it was about from Columbia, where we're at, it's a little under 3 hours away. And when I went online, I was thinking about Tot Hill Farms. I was thinking about maybe somewhere else on the coast. And then I looked up Tobacco Road. The rate was only about just a little over $100. And I was like, I'm done. I'm in. Let's go do it. So I signed up. And one of the things I really enjoyed about my Tobacco Road experience was, the online booking system. When I signed up, put in the credit card and all that information, they would start sending me reminders, sent me, just a kind of a welcome email the morning of, giving me the address to the course and just all the little details that I thought was helpful for someone like me to be able and to do that. And so it was just a really good experience right from the get-go. Although I will say, I left early. I played on a Saturday morning. I left early. I probably left at 6 o'clock in the morning. At first, I drove 3 hours. I never got on the interstate one time. It was all back roads through South Carolina, I think Sherall, some other places, which surprisingly, I think I'm pretty well versed in South Carolina. It's a place I've never really been before. I was a little nervous because I know people talk, it's an intimidating golf course. It's not a place you go to score well. I need all the help I can get. So when you start hearing it's not a place that you can score well, that kind of frightens me a little bit. But on the way up there, I do remember vividly, first time I've ever seen this, there was this is probably 7 o'clock in the morning in some back town. There was a cemetery, and you could tell that they just recently they had the tent up. There were some chairs out. Nobody was there, but there was a coffin. It was above ground, just sitting there. And I was like, that kind of spooked me a little bit. And I was like, is this a sign of what's to come? I mean, it kind of caught me off guard going there. But outside of that, heading there, it was a great experience. You see the signs for Pinehurst and all the other little different things. So I would say even the drive up there is nice.
Yeah, no, I agree. We rode up there with the guys I played with, and just in the car, only one of us had played. My friend Brandon had played it before, so he was kind of giving us some stories of his time there before. But we were just all, chatting, excited about what we had heard, what we'd seen in pictures, and what we'd, I guess, read about. So yeah, it was a lot of anticipation making that trek up to Tobacco Road.
I was so excited the whole time. Like, I love driving new places and going to a new course, and even just to drive in. I made a stop found a good Sheetz gas station that was probably about 10 miles from there. I got me some coffee. I even got me a donut. And I don't buy donuts, but I was like, hey, I'm going to treat myself today. It's just right after Christmas, so we're going to have a good time. And then pulling in, really the whole time, my whole experience in going into Tobacco Road, you see the sign up there above, the hole coming in, and just really the whole experience once you drive in was incredible. The bag drop, they put you, there in your golf cart. The check-in people were just so friendly. I'm a little touch guy. Like, little touches I really like the golf cart. They've got 2 waters in there. They're aluminum bottles that they give you, and then they give you the Tobacco Road teas right there. I just think little things like that adds to the experience, and you could tell that you were, somewhere, special. I enjoyed my time on the driving range, and the putting greens. I thought it was, really cool. What do you remember about that part?
I mean, you talk about the putting green, right? Like, we stood on that thing, for half an hour or more after hitting some on the driving range. That putting green, we're like, man, if this is any indication of what we're about to see, I mean, it's probably a 2-story difference on the tiers of the putting green. And we were just having fun trying to be creative of how do we get this thing somewhat close to the hole. So it was, but I'm with you. Like, I like the little touches, the tees, the logoed tees here, and all the little signage that they had, pointing to the different directions, the hole numbers. We'll, I'm sure, talk about this, the tee box markers and things like that. So it's all the little things that go into, I guess, kind of the ambiance or the decorum of a golf course. They do it right there.
They certainly do. It does matter. Like, I love when people put effort into the tee box markers and signs. When I booked as a solo. I was the only one going, and they paired me up. I will tell you, it is I might not have another grouping like I had. It was basically an eightsome we had. Now, only 4 of them played golf, but I got paired up with a couple they were from Oregon. They were just coming out. They flew out to North Carolina, and they were going to drive to South Carolina and then out to Texas to play golf. Well, with the guy, the lady and the guy were both playing. They brought along their 2 dogs, 2 Cavalier King Charles dogs. And they were sitting there in the golf cart the entire time. Well behaved, no issue. The only time it got a little tricky is when a big squirrel come running through, and I was like, oh boy. And they were even a little nervous that it was going to get interesting, but they were great. And I've had a Cavalier King Charles before, and it was actually a really cool little thing. I know some people might be off-put. Why is someone going to bring their dog on the golf course? I loved it. It was a great experience. I thought that it was really cool. And then the other threesome that was there was basically, it was a guy, his wife, who had just given birth to a baby probably about 6 months ago, and they had their baby with them. And the baby, they were great. There was no issues. There was no crying. There was, I couldn't imagine bringing my kids out on the golf course, and or my wife coming out, less than 6 months after giving birth. But we had 3 different carts, 8, 2 animals, a baby, it really was the most dynamic group that I've ever been a part of. But the pace of play was pretty good. There was we got a little slow a couple times, but I I thought it was amazing, and I loved it. I mean, I don't mind playing alone. I actually like it, but I love meeting people and dogs. We'll say animals too. I mean, that was really. I wanted to get a selfie with the dogs. I did, and I felt like we bonded over that time. And unfortunately, they had to watch me swing a couple of times, and it wasn't real pretty. But they were, they were awesome. Have you ever played with dogs before?
I've been out on the course, just kind of walking a few holes with a friend that had a dog with him. But no, I cannot say I've showed up to a round, gotten paired up with some strangers, and they had their dogs with them. So
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
it was pretty cool. But once we got all checked in, we met everybody, we talked, and which that's one of the things. Golf is people, and that was one of the things that was really cool to get to know those people and hear their story. And they just love the game of golf. They different reasons, different things. And like I said, that one couple that they basically renting a car and driving from South Carolina to Texas to play a bunch of different golf courses. They were asking me different courses to play in the Myrtle Beach area. That seemed like a pretty cool little trip. But when you step on the number one tee box there, that is such a visually, intimidating. Like, okay, first thing is don't embarrass yourself. When you have I don't know, call them two mounds on both sides, and it was probably one of the most nervous I've been for a tee shot. And I will say, thankfully, I put it right down the middle, and it stayed in the fairway. It wasn't real long, but I didn't lose it. I just had these bad feelings that thing was going to go all over the place, and I was going to lose it. How did your first tee shot there, number one, go?
It was good. You're right. I mean, that tee shot is a really cool look. It can be intimidating because you do have those mounds on either side. And then farther down the fairway, you got mounds that are guarding the green. So, it kind of looks like, and a lot of the course does, what you think playing on Mars might be like, or the moon. But no, hit the fairway. I will tell you, my buddy Brandon and Jonathan Dickinson, who I played with, both of them crushed their drives and then hit incredible second shots and had eagle opportunities. I don't think either one of them made the eagle, but they both birdied it. But yeah, so they started out really well. But it is a fun opening tee shot, I think.
It is. It is fantastic. I should go back. I do remember one of the things they suggested: buy the yardage book. Mm-hmm. And I was cool. I'm gonna buy the yardage book. I get up there, and I'm maybe just ignorant how much things cost. I see the yardage book, and it was $20. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna buy I didn't buy the yardage book. Did you buy the yardage book?
No, but correct me if I'm wrong. The carts have GPS on it, correct?
They do. They do. Okay. And then I had it on my phone, so that's why I was like, okay, if it's and the sad thing is, and I started thinking about this, I did flip open and look at the yardage book, and I saw $20. I was about to put it back down, but then I looked at it, and I was like, I'm not so sure I could read this like I need to read it for it to be worth it. But I do remember that after the first tee shot, I didn't know exactly. I wasn't paying attention, because even on the GPS, it doesn't do it justice like some other courses where everything is at. And I remember trying to, hit, you blind tee shots all over the place. There's a bunch of just blind shots all over the place. And, that first hole, I was hooked. Afterwards, now my score, once again, I don't even remember what it was, but it just was a beautiful hole. I would say it was certainly one of my favorites.
Yeah, great start, but yeah, you're right. Like if you don't have and that was something they said, either get a yardage book or use the carts to actually just know where to hit it, because there are blind shots everywhere. And if you don't have a general sense of direction of where the ball is supposed to be, I mean, think of hole number 13, for example, the one you kind of referenced when you said you see the sign coming in. Mm-hmm. Like the approach to the green, like you don't know where the flag is. And so without the GPS saying, all right, the flag's, on the left side of what you think is the green, then you could miss it, 30 yards in the wrong direction. So, which is cool. Like it makes, you trust your distances then and your club selection of, all right, I got 100 yards. I need to hit a 100-yard shot in this direction. And it almost helps because you don't have to look at a flag to distract you and make you try too hard, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I when I did, I thought for sure, and I, watched all the videos. People said, "Oh, you need this, you need that," and I was like, do you really need all that? Just look at it. No, you need some of that stuff. And I just, I understood what people would say. You will be at least 5 shots better the next time you play it, because you'll understand a little bit more and what you're trying to do. But yet, one of the things we talked about a little bit earlier is the tee markers. They've got to be some of the coolest tee markers of a lot of the different, places, just to see all the different ones that they had. What do you remember about those?
I do remember I quickly had to learn, and now I know what a disc and a plow and all that other stuff looks like, because we would, pull up to the next tee and it was like, all right, remind me again what this one looks like. And so pretty soon you kind of had a good idea. But yeah, it's cool. They have, half of a blade disc buried in the ground, a couple of them to show you where that certain tee marker is. And, it's unique. It's different than the basic wooden colored block, and something that makes the course stand out even more.
Absolutely. I saw Golf Digest did an article, and they ranked them like the number 2 tee markers of courses, just behind Congressional Country Club Blue, which, that one's got the Capitol building. That is pretty cool. Do you remember what markers you played from in Tobacco Road?
I think we did a combination. Like they have the disc plow like hybrid, like so on different holes it tells you, all right, you need to play this tee marker, this tee box, this one. So I think it was the combination of disc and plow.
I think that's what we did as well. And there's times I wanted to pick plow because I certainly didn't need anything long. But when you had the ripper, the disc, the plow, or the cultivator tees, and then I think there was a number of different little options in between there. Things like that, which I think it's a small thing, but it does look, so cool to me. Did you have a favorite hole out there that you liked?
I mean, I think 13, 14, that little stretch right there, the one we were talking about, the par 5, yep. Number 13, where, you got a blind tee shot, and then going into the green is completely blind. And it is kind of their, I don't know if they would call it a signature hole. They're kind of all signature in itself, but you've got the sign and the road right there in the background. And then turn around number 14, the par 3 right next to the Stewart cabin. So you got a little water, a little pond you got to kind of carry, and it kind of drops down next to the Stewart cabin by the green. I just think those 2 holes stand out to me, and probably a lot of people as some of the favorites. But I mean, you could go number 1, you can go number 18, you can go all of them really. Number 9 is pretty incredible. We'll give a shout out. Number 9, buddy Billy Richards, Carolina Pines Golf, took an incredible photo of the steps on number 9 that I think it was Lynx magazine used for their cover maybe a couple months back. So, I mean, they could all be your favorite, right? Do you have a favorite?
No, but you're right. When people said, what are the signature holes? And people would say, well, all of them could be signature holes. And it's one of those, when people say that, you're like, okay, could it really? That might be a bit of an exaggeration. They're all pretty doggone really, really good holes. Now, I will say, 13 and 14, they're great. They are. And if I've scored better, they might be my favorite. It was. And how'd you do on 14 on the par 3? How'd you do on that one?
I hit the green, got a par. Barely missed I had a long birdie putt, so just thankfully a tap in par. But
yeah, well, I did not hit the green. I did not hit water, which I was highly successful, but it was worse. I think I got some, like next to a root, behind some type of waste bunker or something. And it was one of those I wanted to do so well on that hole. That was like, I wanted to put it right there on the green or just close. It didn't happen. And in the 13, I wanted to do well on that one. No, that 13, I hit a long tee shot, and I felt pretty good about it. It was like, okay, it wasn't as straight as I wanted, but I felt good about my contact, which for me, I can live with. But then it was like right next to a tree root and sand. Like, it was just an awful, awful lie. And that set all sorts of issues for me, but for that particular one, and it set me back. And then it was a train wreck of a whole scoring wise, but it was beautiful. I loved it, especially the end, down inside the bowl. You got the sign right above there. I wish I could have enjoyed it a little bit better with a better score. But I really liked the number 11, the par 5. And one of the reasons I like that's because I scored well there. I had a par there, and everybody in my group, they went down. That's the one that's got the big bunker, the steep bunker, and everybody was down in there, and you couldn't even see them. And I'm like 30 feet away, and I couldn't see them because it was so far down. I mean, that is nuts. I was so petrified of that play. I was like, I was going to probably hit it out of bounds, even though they don't have out of bounds there, far left. And I played it well and got a legit par out of it. So that was, hit a
Nice.
4-iron. That was probably I hit a 4-iron that probably went about 190 right onto the green. And it made life great again for that particular time. Of course, then it went downhill in 13, 14. But I really like that because it was, I love things about courses and holes that make them different. It's not every day that you see a bunker that you've got to get steps and maybe even a ladder, to get out of going there. That's one I really like. I mean, really, there's so many good ones down there. Like I say, 12 is, I mean, they're all really good. They all got their own, different things. And I like to take a lot of pictures when I play. So I'm always having my camera out, trying to take quick pictures. I mean, I try not to slow down the pace. I don't slow down the pace of play. I don't, try not to infringe on anybody. I'm not doing the guy being the selfie while I should be taking a tee shot. I'm not going to do that. But if I'm waiting, I'm going to take a picture. And I had to bring my charger on the course because there were so many great pictures and video to see that particular day. I'm assuming you take a lot of pictures. Or do you try to take a lot of pictures when you play, or do you try not to, or how do you do that?
I try to. We were out there, one, obviously to enjoy the golf, but two, we interviewed Scooter Berman, the, I guess, head pro or director of golf there at Tobacco Road. So we did a podcast episode there after our round. So I was trying to capture some video and some pictures and stuff to use kind of as background of the podcast. But I like taking pictures, but I think I like it because I have a number of really good friends who are really, really good at it, and I admire their work. I'll never be at their level and things like that, but it's allowed me to see golf courses from their perspective, kind of a more creative perspective, and I think it opens up more creativity in my mind to be like, there are a lot of really cool angles and things like that it's fun just to try to capture something. And again, not going to be any good at it, but nice thing about digital cameras is you can take a bunch and maybe have one good one or something. So it's fun.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. I mean, golf courses for me, what makes it a good one is just, I love seeing the aesthetics of it, just seeing just the scenery, what's in the background, what makes it different. Just everything about Tobacco Road seems different from a lot of the courses that I was playing. So I really enjoyed that. We talked about this a little bit a while back, but I would love, one of my bucket list things is I want to stay at Stewart Cabin there on 14, do a guys weekend, and just get probably more balls than any person should have, and just work on that one hole. Maybe I can get the one shot that might look good. On there, because I did hear the podcast that y'all did with him, and it was fantastic. And then just seeing Stewart Cabin and just understand how they say they turn the lights on. I think they give you a golf cart while you're there. Your replays are included in it. That just to me would just seem like just something really. I know they call it a rustic cabin, so it's probably not the a 5-star hotel. But if you got the 14th hole right there, and you can go to the other, I mean. That would just make for an awesome guys trip right there.
Yeah, no, they have that. I guess they stay and play package kind of thing, and Stewart Cabin it really seems cool. And I'm like you, like it probably, I'm sure it is rustic, but if I go on a golf trip, like the bed I'm sleeping on, doesn't have to be super, plush or whatever. Like, I'm there to try to play golf and hang out with people. So, like, bed, unfortunately, on golf trips, you get less sleep than you probably should, but the bed's kind of the last thing I'm thinking about. So if it's a rustic Stewart cabin, like, I'm all in, because I'm like you, and they have the lights on, I'll be out on number 14 a good bit of the night trying to hit different creative shots and have some fun with friends.
Absolutely. I could imagine you can almost set your own mini par 3 course just right around that one. All right, we're going to go from here, and here. And just, have
And that's
fun.
the beauty of a Mike Strantz course, right? Like,
Yeah.
he gives you options for tee boxes. He gives you options for different shots. One thing, kind of what you were alluding to with different tee markers and stuff like that, and trying different shots and stuff, is you might be 170 out in the fairway, and you could hit every club in your bag, obviously differently, but to try to attack the green. And there's not one like, 170, let me just pull out this club because that's what I hit 170. No, like, it allows you to be creative. It allows you to try things that maybe you wouldn't normally try, and figure out that, what, maybe 170 bumping a 4-iron or, punching a 3-wood or something like that is the shot for this one. So I think it just goes again to what Mike Strantz designed is golf is fun, and let's have fun doing it.
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing, that I thought was really cool, and I did not get a chance to play, was their par 3 course that is a part of their regular golf course, the El Camino. I mean, that just looks like such a incredibly, I saw a lot of different little, areas where they could be tee markers. I mean, it is just such a fun, a fun thing. They, and they're on holes, if you look at if you look at their scorecard for El Camino, they don't list it 1, 2, 3. They list it 19, 20, 21, 22, just like on top of. So you can go play the 18 and then go play, an extra 9, and it really be a completely different, experience. So Mike Strantz, like, he's probably my favorite designer, or one, because golf, he's made it fun. Now, I know there are people out there that, I will admit, I was concerned when I played Tobacco Road, because I'm not a good golfer. I was concerned, is it too much for me? Well, first of all, any course is too much for me, before just being real. But I still had a good time. Like, it wasn't like, it was not unbearable. Like, you can hit shots. It's not a particularly long course. But for me, it's fun. It's just such a fun course, even down to the food item that I got in the pro shop there in the restaurant. Did you try? I tried it. Well, I sort of tried it. I've got a confession. The pimento cheese spicy dog. Did you try that?
No, I did not.
That is one of their things they're known for, and I sort of tried it. I mean, I sort of tried it. I tried the pimento cheese hot dog, but I left the spicy off of it. I left the jalapenos. I know there are people that like the spicy stuff, but it was actually really good. That's one of the things I like to do when I go to different golf courses. I always ask, all right, what are you known for? What is something that I may not be able to get, 5 miles from my house? And the pimento cheese hot dog minus the spice, it was actually really good, because I had one at the turn, and I took one for the ride home, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Man, very nice. Quite a day. Donut and a couple hot dogs.
Yeah, no,
you were treating yourself.
Yes, I was. I was absolutely treating myself, and I didn't even treat myself as much as I want. I'm going to go on a little mini rant, a little PSA for people. When I got checked in there, I always love to check out the pro shop. I love to check out a gear. I'm a gear guy, and I always like to scour what I might get, and then I usually always buy it after my round's over. Well, I'm the guy that goes. I go to the back corner and find the clearance rack. That's the one that's 50% off, 40% off. See if I can find something that's still good, but maybe within a little bit more of my budget, especially post Christmas. And they had 2 pullovers that I loved. I was like, man, this is going to be a really good day. I'll just wait until after the round. Now, it's a mistake. If you see it, you better get it, because when I came back, it was gone. I mean, and I was hurt by that. I did get got the hat, the Tobacco Road hat. I went with the simple logo without the wording on it. I liked it. There was a lot of different ones. It was an imperial hat that I good quality. That was my only purchase of the day. What was your purchase that you got, Robby? Didn't you got something while you were there?
Yeah, I grabbed a coffee mug while I was there. A big coffee guy, so it's fun to pull this one out. And logos help you think about the experiences you had, or like you're walking around today wearing that thing. It's kind of a badge of honor. And so somebody might say, "Ooh, that looks cool. What's that?" And you can tell a golf story, right? Like that's what we love about best ball is all about golf stories, and simple things like a logo can do that. So. Yeah, snagged a coffee mug, and it makes me remember a good trip that we had last summer.
Yeah, I love just different logo items, different things that might represent the experience that you had. That's why I wait sometimes, because if it's an awful experience, why do I want to remember it? But I knew probably from the time that I got there that it was going to be a good experience. You could just tell. Like I'm not yet. Come back. Let's maybe revisit this in another year. I'm not one of those that if I don't play well, I can still enjoy it, the experience. Now, that is one part I am a little concerned about as I try to focus on becoming a better golfer. Do I let a bad round or a bad hole dictate how I overall feel about it? That is my only concern about golf, because I'm competitive, but right now I know I'm only competitive with me. My wife doesn't have to worry about me gambling with other people, because I'm not going to do it, because that would just be foolish for me to gamble with anybody. Even people try to give me strokes. That's not a good sign. But for me, I just, that is my one concern is after leaving the course, do I get upset because of the way I played? Had nothing to do with the service, nothing to do with the people I played with. How much will I let that bother me? Now, do you let it ever bother you, or are you pretty good where it doesn't matter? When you leave, you're happy regardless how you play?
I mean, I think the only thing that affects my thoughts on a course is the condition of it, right? So, greens especially, like if I go to a course, let's say one I've never been to or something, even just a local track here that I've played hundreds of times, like, that's what kind of influences my thoughts coming off a course is like were the greens in good shape or decent shape, or if they're in bad shape, that kind of, because you can't score. You heard, I think it was maybe Bryson or something say, pros have it easier putting because all our greens are perfect. And I get that. Like if you go play somewhere and the greens are bad, like you might judge how well you're putting by whether or not the ball is going in the hole. And it might not be that you're hitting bad, putting bad stroke on the ball. It could just be that you're catching every bump and divot and whatever else that's causing your ball not to go where it should have gone. So that, but yeah, I mean, I do have bad holes or bad rounds that kind of get you down a little bit, but I don't let my play dictate my thought on a golf course.
Well, I'm hoping I can say the same thing as I continue to try to, because there was a couple times yesterday, especially the last 8, 9, when I couldn't feel my hands, and it wasn't the course's fault that it was 40-something degrees. But I still just enjoy getting out there. Speaking of logo items and cool things, I noticed your Good Company hat there. That's a good looking hat, and I've saw on social media where Good Company just announced a big trip coming up. Talk about that.
Yeah, so we did one a couple weeks ago talking about Pawleys Island and playing Caledonia and True Blue. We gathered 12 guys together in our first Good Company gathering, and that's what it is, Good Company. It's all about good people and good courses and good fun, like food and fellowship and stuff. And so, yeah, we're going to do some more. We just announced one for the Pinehurst area. So we are taking Good Company. We've got a spot for 24 people. We're going to Pinehurst, and it's, when you think of Pinehurst, you think of number 2. We're playing that one. You might think of number 10, which is the 2024 best new course in the country. We're playing that one. So wow. We've got a schedule where it's June 16th through 19th. So it's the day after Father's Day, Monday through Thursday. and we're playing Monday. We're playing number 3. We've got dinner reservations already set. Tuesday, we're going and playing number 10. We've already got that booked. We've got dinner reservations that night at the Deuce, which is the restaurant overlooking Pinehurst number 2. Wednesday morning, we'll get up and play number 2 with caddies. We'll play the Cradle that afternoon, and then finally, and we'll do dinner that night at the Pinehurst Brewing Company. And then Thursday, before we leave, we'll go play number 4. So it's going to be a lot of fun. People can go to our newsletter, Par 3 Thursdays, or just go, follow us on social media. You can get more info about it. But we'd love to, if we've got room and you want to go, we'd love to have people come join us.
Wow, it sounds like this is not just a good trip. This is a bucket list trip. I mean, in Pinehurst. I mean, what that is amazing. All the different good courses you got lined up. Now, do you have lined up where you're staying in Pinehurst?
Yes, we are staying at the Holly Inn there at Pinehurst. So, just a historic hotel right there in the town of Pinehurst that we'll be able to walk to, a different bar or walk down to the brewing company and, just be able to hang out as a group. And again, it'll be 24 of us. So we'll have a good time. And we've got some good partners that are helping us with some really cool stuff for swag bags. We're getting some coolers from Jones Sporting Goods, our sporting company. So they do, golf bags and things like that, but we're getting some really cool coolers from them, or like a shag bag, whatever you want to use it for. What else we're doing? We've got flag bag. We just had Josh Smith with flag bag. We're not doing golf bags, but we are doing custom head covers for that.
Nice.
We'll have Western Birch tees. We'll have some Atomic Golf ball markers, custom markers for this trip. So it'll be a good swag bag that comes with this thing as well. So it's a lot of fun, and scores will be had, and that doesn't matter. It'll be all about the fellowship and experiencing really cool courses that I think everyone wants to play.
Well, you're creating experiences. That's not even a trip. That's an experience or experiences. Absolutely. I mean, even down to you got the hotel that sounds amazing, the Deuce, the restaurant. I mean, when you think of Pinehurst, those are things that I've never been there before, but I think of. And this sounds like the 2025 is the year of Robby and Jonathan with your different experiences, or at least April, May, and June. Give us a little update on how your planning's going for your April trip out to the old course.
Oh man. Plans are set. I will say next week. So when this is being released next Wednesday, from when we're recording it now, we'll be coming back from Florida. So we are working with Summit Golf Brands. So Beach Ratty is zero restriction. This is a zero restriction hoodie, which might be the most comfortable thing I've ever owned. But we're going down to their shindigs, and we're going to try to play some golf down there. And we're going to catch a spring training game because Jonathan and I are big baseball fans, so we're going to do that. But April, we are heading to the old course. Jonathan was selected in the ballot to play the old course reversed. And he, you sign up as either 2 or 4 when you enter the ballot, and he signed up for 2 with my name on it, so I get to go with. So we're playing 3 rounds there. We're playing the Castle course, the old course in reverse, and then the old course on 3 consecutive days. And prior to that, we, my buddy Brandon, is going to be traveling to Ireland to play Cairn, where he joined as an overseas member, and we're going to go play for like a day with him before heading to Scotland. So it's going to be fun. We've got some other stuff lined up, but then good company rolls around in June, and we'll just keep moving. You need to join us on our good company trip.
I'm working on that because that sounds amazing. I can only imagine the stories, and I know I'll make a lot of other people feel good about their golf game when I go. But that sounds like a blast. Kind of lead into my top 10. Every episode, I like to try to do a top 10 of sorts. And so my top 10 this week are top 10, what I call pro shop purchases, or things that I look for, or when I go somewhere that I want to buy, in order. Number 10. Now, I will admit, I've only bought one of these before. That's why it's number 10. Head cover. I've never bought a head cover. Well, I've only bought one head cover a long time ago from a pro shop. They look really, really cool. But there was one when I played out Broom Sedge that I really wanted, but I didn't do it. I didn't pull the trigger. All right, what you about to pull out there, Rod? What you got there?
Well, I was gonna. It's in my golf bag, but my Landman head cover is probably my favorite pro shop purchase of all time. One, it has to do with the love of that course, but two, it's just a really cool head cover that depicts their windsocks that they use for flags, and it kind of makes it a little ode or nod to how much wind you're going to be playing in. So
that's not the one. That's not one made from the actual windsock, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. No, those should be in their pro shop from Flag Bag when they open up in May. So yeah, if you're going to Landman, try to get one of those. But that's probably my favorite purchase, and I get it. It's number 10 on your list, but
it is number 10. But I would imagine if I get the one, and that's like it's not trying to say number 10 is bad. It's it's number 10. Number 9 for me, and part of it too is a budgetary aspect to some of this. Number 9 is ball markers. I like a ball marker, but I'm going to be honest too. Like, how many ball markers do you actually need? And maybe I need to get, now this is probably the problem. When I figure out how to buy them and then display each individual one, that's where becomes a problem for me. So ball markers are number 9, and I'm a sucker when I see one. I say, ooh, that's a really good one. But number 8 for me is a good glass or a mug, good coffee mug, a good, the pint glass. I think those are, that's something you can always use. Number 7 on my list is a little bit newer, and I don't know, some people might think this is a man card violation, but stickers. I like a good golf course sticker. I'm starting to collect. I'm starting to collect those a little more. I actually kind of blame you a little bit for that, because you were so kind to give me a best ball sticker. And I was like, man, these are really cool. I mean, it was kind of cool, and you see things at different places. And I said, yeah, we can grab this. I put this on it, and it's not going to blow away your budget when you buy one of those. Number 6 for me is a hat, and this might be actually a little too low on the list. It might need to be a little higher. It's one that I've just, probably when I started playing golf, I started buying more hats. I've tried not to buy one from every course I play, but I like the one I've gotten from Tobacco Road. Now, do you have a favorite hat, Robby, that you've bought before?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm guilty of buying a ton of hats. I mean, I got a ton displayed behind me here. Tree Farm, this old that one, Old Barnwell, is really cool. I'm a logo guy, so if it's got a good logo, but I running best ball, I try to wear as many best ball hats as I can, because not that people are looking at me as a hat model, but I figure if I can rep the brand. But no, I love a good hat from a course, especially if it's got a sweet logo.
If I put the over-under at 50 golf hats, are you the over or are you an under?
Like with logos and stuff?
Yep.
I might be under if it's actual golf course hats. Yeah. Because I think I figured out early on that I can't wear them all. And I try to be selective if I didn't buy one at Tobacco Road. I got the coffee mug instead. Because I thought, you know what, I love the hat, but how often can I throw it into rotation? And I think I was more budget conscious that day as well. It's like, I can get a $20 mug or a $15 mug, whatever it costs, over a $30-something hat. So, yeah,
no, I get that. Number 5 on my list is a pullover. I love a good pullover with a good logo on it. I mean, and doggone, it's probably the most expensive thing on my list. And that's one that there's certain places when I go that I just know, as long as it's anywhere where I think it's nice, cool, I'm going to buy it. I've become, and I don't like I've become a little, I like a good pullover. I don't want to buy bad. And so, of course, the
Are you
nice
counting?
ones.
Are you counting like all hoodies or just like quarter zips? Or what does that all lump together?
Yes, I put them all together. I mean, yeah, I would say a good hoodie, like the one you got on. I think I really like. I took a lesson out, a couple lessons out at Old Barnwell. I've got a pullover hoodie, Old Barnwell one that it was not budget friendly, but man, is one of my favorite things
I got one from there as well. Because again, the logo is just awesome.
It is. It was simple, but it's so cool. It was a Holderness and Bourne one that I really liked, and I will say I almost pulled I do remember at Tobacco Road, I almost pulled the trigger on a zero restriction hoodie that they had there. I was that close, but I didn't. It's one of those I kind of regret. I wish I would have bought it now.
Just gotta go back and hope it's still there.
No, not if it's one I really want. It's not there. But I love a good pullover. Now, probably 6 months from now or 4 months from now, when it's blazing hot, maybe I won't. But that leads into number 4, the traditional polo. That's probably just, here in South Carolina, you can wear polo almost year round at some point in time. I mean, I love a good polo. Golf people have got it figured out. They're comfortable. They can be lightweight. It's just, to me, it's almost a must at some of your courses that you get a polo. You got a favorite polo that you've gotten before?
Yeah, I used to get them more often, but I don't anymore. Man, I had a Sage Valley polo that I had for a long time. But this was probably 10 years ago when I went there, just because I had probably peer pressure influence. Like, I had seen other people that I'd known that had gone there, and I saw the logo, and I'm like, that's really cool that I got an invite to go play it. It's, not everybody in the world gets to do that. Like, I'll grab one, and it was pretty nice. And then, I got a Masters polo that, you pull out every year. So, yeah, those probably a couple of them that come to mind.
Yeah.
How about you? You got a favorite?
I will. My favorite, it's an oldie, but it's probably about to be retired, but needs to, is the one I got from TPC Sawgrass back in the early 2000s. I mean, I wash it, hang it up. I don't dry it. I try to take good care of it, but it's about at that point now. It was a little different color, still just cool enough. That's probably my favorite. My new favorite right now, I got a Broom Sedge one, polo, Holderness and Bourne one that I love it. It's one of those that I'm got a confession. I can be weird sometimes. Like, I don't want to wear a brand new nice polo if I think there's a chance I'm going to get dirty. Like if I'm going out to play golf and it's raining, it's wet, it's muddy, I'm not going to wear it because I'm afraid I'm going to be the dude that hits it in the ground and splatters everywhere, and I'm going to mess up my polo shirt. And yeah, that's me. So yeah, those are.
We need to get you some Beadratty polos and gear.
That's what I hear. That's certainly on the list of things to get. I know matter of fact, I think I saw some of that at Tobacco Road as well. That stuff looks really, really good.
They're super comfortable. We just got some kind of like the zero restriction stuff. Mm-hmm. We just got some with the Best Ball logo on it, but I will throw it out there. There's a code BestBall20 if you or any of your listeners are interested, that they can get 20% off it. Beadratty or Zero Restriction or Fairway and Green, the three of the brands that fall under Summit. So,
wow,
I like them, and I would suggest getting some.
That sounds great. I think that'll be one of my next purchases. All right, number 3 on my list. I haven't. Hey, this might be a little high. Pin flag. I like a good pin flag. Haven't bought one in a while, but I like a good flag. But to me, it's got to be. I don't buy them all the time. It's got to be a really good course, and I think I got to play well. I've got one from Sawgrass, and anytime I go to a Masters, which I've only really been twice, I've gotten a Masters flag there. Maybe a different other tournament. That's kind of. I just think that's a really cool thing you can kind of hang up in your office or wherever, and it's just classy enough. Doesn't take up too much room. I guess it depends on if you frame it or all that. And you ever buy any flags? I don't know if you're a flag guy or not.
I'm like you. I save it for special rounds. So I've got one from Pinehurst number 2. I got one from Pinehurst number 3 as well. Got a couple Masters flags. Trying to think. Got one from the Heritage back in the day. And Jonathan and I, kind of one of our first trips when we started up best ball, we went out to, because he has family in Arizona, we went out to a couple of the practice round days of the waste management. So I got one of those. That's kind of a commemorative, kind of a first launch of what we were doing with best ball, kind of as we rebranded it. But so we just talked to, like we're saying, Josh Smith with Flag Bag Golf Company. So if you're not displaying them, like, you could turn around and take those. And I'm excited because that's what we're going to do for the head covers. We're talked with Pinehurst, and we were getting we're getting Pinehurst number 2 flags that he's going to turn into custom head covers for our group. So,
wow, that sounds
a flag is good. Jonathan's already talking about his. He's going to get St. Andrews flags while he's over there, and going to get. I think I get Flag Bag to make him like a valuables pouch or something like that to keep up with stuff. So, yeah, and that's the cool thing about what Josh is doing with Flag Bag. He's not saying, hey, go out and buy brand new flags and do this. Like, he started it by kind of upcycling or recycling used flags, like flags at courses where, like, all right, these are old, we got to get new ones for next year because they're sun faded, they got dirt all over them or whatever. And he's like, let me take those and do something with it. And so that's a plug. But
yeah, no, that was a great episode. I would encourage people to go back and listen to it. The story with Jack Nicklaus and his grandson, calling.
That was great. Like, I see him walk out on the first tee of the match, and I knew a Flag Bag, and hadn't connected with Josh yet, but I see that, I'm like, that's a Flag Bag, golf bag that he and his wife Barbara were carrying out there to do the honorary tee shot at the Masters, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. And then to hear the stories, even better.
Yeah, it is a great story. That's one thing I love about your podcast, the whole story, that you tell these stories that may not be known to everybody, and just how it intertwines within golf. One question I want to ask him was, like, if you heard he was going to be there, why didn't you go down there? Like, try to go see it in person. Of course, that's easy to say, and then you look at what it would cost to get there, what it would cost to get in, and actually watch that. There's probably a few reasons why you
he's in California. It's different for us here in Columbia that we probably know more people within the area that might have access for us to get in somehow. But
yeah, that's probably a whole nother podcast alone, just how fortunate we are to have. You think about the most famous golf course and golf tournament within about an hour's drive every year. I mean, every year. It's crazy. Yep. All right, number 2 on my list, and it's a pro shop purchase, although, it's more of a freebie item, are tees. I love golf. I've just started collecting them. They got logos on them, different things. I love it when a golf course gives those to you. I mean, I'm one of those that if there's extra on the side, I'm taking them when I'm leaving. I'm not leaving them in the golf cart. I'm throwing in my bag. I'm one of those too. If I see one on the ground, it's in working condition and it's a good, I'm keeping it. Now, I'm not going to add it to my collection unless I played it. I've either got to play it, attend the course, or something like that. That's just something I'm maybe a little superstitious or weird about. I love the Western Birch tees that you got with the Best Ball logo on it. I mean, they do some real, I wonder how many people get them from them. Those are amazing tees. They just look really good. And I saw the Good Company logo tees. I do have to ask, whose idea was it with the tees and the Good Company with the Pinehurst? Was that your creativity for putting that little video together?
Yeah. And it just so happened that I had all the tees, even though, like you said, like, you want to get them from, or have them from courses you've played. I haven't played number 4 yet, but I did have a tee, and I haven't played number 10 yet, but somebody had given me a tee. So I just, as I was listing out the courses that we were playing, I'm like, I think I have a tee for each of those, and dug in the bag, and then a little thing I collect some in, and happened to find them. So yeah, thank you though. That was fun to make.
That was pretty cool. Now, do you display your tees, or you throw them in a something? How do you display your tees? I've tried to figure that out.
Yeah, we had an old glass vase or something, like kind of a weird shape thing, and it's full now. So, but I throw like tees and pencils, and little plastic ball markers or divot tools or something. Like I'm like you, like if it's courses, it's got a little thing for you to get. And it goes back to the little things that make a course cool. Like if they've got a box where you can grab a couple tees, you know, a plastic divot thing or a plastic ball marker and a divot tool or something like. And if I like the course, I'll probably grab one and just be able to throw it in there and display it and have it. So
yeah. Well, my number one pro shop purchase is logo balls. That's just I'm buying it every single course I play. I will visibly
you display them.
Yes, I do. I'll have to take some pictures of them. I've actually got two different. I got a case at the house that had my old balls that I played in the early 2000s. Now I've started a different one in my office at Spring Valley High School where I've got little ball cubes. So every time I get them, I put them in there. I see it. I'm going to buy it every single time. It doesn't matter if I like the course. When I check in, give me that and give me a logo ball. Now I will probably get visibly upset when they say, "Oh, we're out of them." What? You're out of logo? How does a golf course get out of logo balls? But no, that's just I love to do it. Although there's one golf course, I'm not gonna mention it. They made me buy a whole sleeve of them one time. It's like they didn't even just sell them individually. So you got to buy a whole sleeve. And it was Pro V1 logo balls, and I was, that was like, man, that's.
Have you ever been out on the course that you're playing and found one of their logo balls? And like I've done that, and I found one of the logo balls like in the woods or something like that. And I'm like, who bought this and turned around and played it? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like you spent the money on a logo, and they're not that expensive, but you turn around. It's like if you hit a hole in one and tee it up on the next hole, that same ball. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're an idiot, I think, if you do that. Now, and I say that self-deprecatingly because I did that one time by accident, and I lost it. Because I went back after my round, I got a little separate place where I put my logo ball, and I went in, and it wasn't there. And then I started going through my head, what happened? And I know that I teed it up, and I lost it. So, yeah, you might have gotten my logo ball. And then I was like, what? I was so mad at myself for, hey, you're mad that you lost it, but then you lost a ball that probably paid $4 or $5 for that somebody else found. But no, I'm with you. Why would you do it? But I do have two other logo balls. I don't know what I'm going to do with from that one particular course. They're actually good balls, so I might actually play that instead of just keeping it. But no, logo balls are my favorite. Do you buy any logo balls, or you stay away from that?
I used to, and I would have a big display of them, but I kind of got away from that. It's one, because the display rack that I had kind of filled up with some balls, and so I kind of got away. I know Jonathan, he gets them. He's got a big display, so he's like you. If he gets to a course and he's buying a ball, I think he got one from Tobacco Road, but yeah, that's a kind of a common thing that a lot of people are getting. So I will ask, I didn't hear, and maybe you need to add this to your list or something you're looking for. What about T-shirts? Because I've started doing that. One, hoodies, golf shirts, all this other stuff are pretty expensive. But like you said, you get to summertime, are you going to throw on the hoodie? You might, just because you bought it, you want to wear it. But like, there's times when maybe the short sleeve polo isn't the right call, but like you're going to hang out and you just want to throw on a T-shirt. Like a good T-shirt with a good logo on it, guy, you might want to add that to your list of things to look for.
You know what? I've just taken off head cover. It's not even number 10
come
anymore.
On.
I just booted the head cover. The hat's got to go in there.
Hat's got to be in there.
Yeah, but I'm gonna put the T-shirt. It's got to be above the stickers. I mean, I can't. You're right. A good T-shirt, a golf T-shirt is really good, and that's one of those I get upset when I fight. I will admit this. I don't have a ton of golf T-shirts, but I got a feeling I'm going to be buying more. I mean,
because it's typically in that $20 to $30 range, which is going to be a fifth of the price of what a golf shirt polo is going to be. And it displays it, and it's something that you are probably going to wear more often than you would a polo.
Yeah, no,
I found that, I think.
No, yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, I've started getting into them a little bit more. I did get for Christmas a Western Birch T-shirt and some tees that I love.
Nice.
The T-shirt, I mean, it is. I'm I'm ready for it to get a little bit warmer so I can wear it more often. But no, I saw Old Barnwell. They've got some fantastic T-shirts, and Broom Sedge, they had some fantastic ones that I've seen. But no, you're right. You've already slashed I've already have an updated list. Head covers, they're already off the list, and yeah, because that's not that head covers are bad, because I think there's so many different purchases you can make. I'm going to be anxious to hear like how you and Jonathan do at your pro shops when you go overseas there, and what kind of budget you set for yourself at some of those things. So I know I would struggle at like a once in a lifetime type of course or an experience, like how that would go down. But I can't wait to hear how that goes at the end of it.
Well, I'm sure we will give a full report, and we're going to try to document everything and make a little video out of it. So you'll see that.
Well, Robby, thank you so much for joining us here today. This was a blast to talk about Tobacco Road and different pro shop purchases. And even though you tore up my list within 10 seconds of completing it, but it was a good call. I'm sitting here why I didn't have a T-shirt on there, because you're right, here, especially in South Carolina, it's not like I'm even up north. This is the Southern State of Golf podcast, and I didn't even have a basic T-shirt on there. But Robby, thank you again for joining us here today. And it was awesome having you here. Where can people find you? What's the easiest way to connect with you and connect with the Best Ball brand?
Yeah, Best Ball, on social media, all that stuff, it's at Golf Best Ball. And then, that's the easiest way. bestball.com has a link to all the different podcasts that we do. We're growing this podcast family and little media company, and excited that Southern State of Golf is part of it, because it's, golf in the South, like you said, is special, and there's so many things to talk about and ways to explore it and help tell the story of different courses and people and things that are that make golf great. So yeah, at Golf Best Ball, and appreciate a follow and download a podcast. And we do Par 3 Thursdays newsletter that comes out, which we highlight kind of 3 things in the world of golf that like I'd be texting you anyway with. So we put it in a newsletter form.
Well, that is awesome. I always do enjoy getting those on Thursdays, because I like it. It's 3. It's not a long read. A lot of really, really cool stuff there. Well, Robby, thank you again for joining us, and I thank you to all the listeners who joined us today to listen. And once again, reach out to me. Let me know that maybe I missed something else that should have been in the top 10. You can reach us on social media at SS of Golf. We're on X. We're on Instagram. One of these days, maybe TikTok. I haven't quite pulled the trigger on that. I'd love to figure that one out. One thing you will not see is any dancing out of me or any lip singing of that nature. You could also email us at southernstateofgolf@gmail.com. Love to get any input. Love to tell me my list is trash. You like my list? We need to add something, delete something. We had some good discussion on Instagram with our logos that we did a while back, and so there were some very good points made, and I was like, yeah, they're probably right. And then there was a couple of them I wanted to push back. Nah, you got that one wrong. But that's the great thing about golf and top 10s. It generates discussion, and I'd certainly love to hear for you. So thank you again for listening. Y'all have a great day.